Buongiorno. Welcome back to another podcast episode with the Greystone Manor. It has been a year since I last recorded an episode, and honestly, a lot has happened in that time frame. So, this is going to be an update and kind of where I'm going to start taking this podcast. Overall, I just want to be able to share my experience for creating a publishing company that originally started as a community. So, back in 2023, I created a Discord separate from another server that I used to be in, a server that I had a lot of friends, people that followed me for my coloring book club meetups, and it was fun. It was a lot of work making sure that I felt like I did the content creation thing of doing lives once a week for coloring and some type of meditation. I even posted like little fun facts about coloring because that was kind of like my whole entire start. And then it slowly started turning into just like a hangout Discord server, which was great. I really enjoyed that. I didn't have nearly as much responsibility back in 2023 than I do now. So, from there, towards the end of the year, I took on like a promotional role at work. I kind of started becoming a little bit more busy. I started focusing on connections of friendships and people and community that actually was in my area. Mostly, I was getting kind of lonely, even though I had online connections with some amazing people. And I just wanted to actually connect with people face to face. And I'm so glad that I did. I'm actually in a D&D group right now that I absolutely adore. The table's a little full, but it's still a hoot of a time. And we only get together once a month because, that's the only time our schedules line up. But I absolutely loved it. And I really needed that type of support in my life at that time. So, towards the end of 2023, I convinced a few of my friends, technically three of them, I convinced three of my friends that like to write, that are very creative, and they're very metaphysical, kind of witchy friends of mine. So I'm like, let's create just a little baby newsletter and see if we can maybe put that out. And real quick, the newsletter was 3 pages, 5 pages, 7 pages, and then we were looking at 72-page spread. So it quickly turned into a metaphysical magazine. We did kind of hone in the scope of what we wanted to discuss so that it wouldn't get washed out. We're all from Pennsylvania, or at least live in Pennsylvania. So that was our scope, is how do people in Pennsylvania practice spirituality, practice in the metaphysical world? How do people in Pennsylvania practice witchcraft? And between the four of us, we all had like vastly different backgrounds and views. So it really made a polarizing first publication for winter of 2024. Now, I don't think I got everything in until mid-January, so I'm pushing winter copies, but I want to try to stay on like, the cycle of the seasons. So March kind of starts spring. So I quickly get out winter. I put a lot of pressure on my friends, and thankfully I could buy them off with treats and hangouts, thank goodness. And we quickly got spring put together and then out by March 1st. Thankfully, after the spring issue went out, we had a little bit of downtime before June, which is like kind of the start of summer around here, at least in Pennsylvania. So I ended up getting us a small cabin because none of us wrote a single word for an article. I think we already hit burnout before we even like really took this project off the ground. And it makes me laugh like recalling all of this craziness. So at the cabin, we write our articles for summer, and it's the first time that I was like really exposed to a lot of like crazy colors outside of white, gray, blue, and green. And I remember putting a red background on one of the articles and just saying out loud, "Why does this look like winter?" And I immediately changed the color because I could not stand it. But I did push past my boundaries, and we had like purple, blue, green, tan, orange. What else? I think we even had like a white background too. Like summer really like that magazine is very colorful, but it's all worth it in my opinion because now we just released fall, at least the pre-order. And the amount of sleepless nights I had putting into fall because I gave myself a color palette. I gave myself a range of 6 colors and to stay within those 6 colors so that it wouldn't look, you know, like just thrown together. So I literally went through every single page and did a rotation of the 6 colors and then just adjusted the articles according to the color palette. Uh, that was my first time doing something like that. Normally, I like to have articles flow from like one topic to the next, show a progression of, beginning of the season towards the end of the season. Like a good example of this uh, is summer. So, the beginning of summer, we're just getting out of spring. So, a lot of those articles are focused on like early summer foliage, plants, even practices and Sabbaths and holidays. And then when you get towards the end of that summer issue, it's starting to like wind down. We're talking about the heat kind of going away. We're talking about the plants that are now like late blooming. Even talking slowly starting to talk about like harvesting certain fruits and vegetables in the area and how you can apply that to your practice. So that's kind of the goal that I have is to go from the beginning of the season, middle, and end. Fall, I did not do that. First of all, we had quite a few people actually write in submissions, which chef's kiss, exactly what I was looking for. And I just assigned them all a color and put them in order according to color. Um, I mean, there is some kind of progression, at least with the images, but I do save like the back of the magazine mostly for the coloring pages for meditation. We actually have one author that is a mother, and she writes for her children, which I think is adorable. She calls them witchlings. And so now it's just like mini magic. That is now like a permanent placement. It's almost like a blog post come to real life in a magazine. But she kind of goes over books that you can read to your kids when they're younger, if you want to get them into witchcraft or a certain type of spirituality. She goes over, certain crystals that the kids like to carry to school and how they do intention settings with candles and how they do certain arts and crafts with specific intentions. It's just, I absolutely love that. But I've been putting that all towards the back of the magazine with some thicker pages in case kids actually do want to use those coloring pages instead of for like adult meditation. But that is what I've been filling 2024 with. It has been one heck of a journey. You think, at least I did, I thought putting out a magazine was going to be easy peasy. Like you just throw some images together, some colors, some words, you print it, and you just say, "Here, buy my thing." False. Does not work that way. So I learned about the horrors of copyright. And my gosh, if you mess up any piece of that paperwork, it takes like 3 times longer to just get back to you. And I'll tell you what, holding my breath for that winter copyright to come in has almost drained me and passed me out at this point, or almost made me pass out. Um, I got back spring relatively quick, summer relatively quick. I already know fall is going to go quick because I kind of know what I'm doing now with the whole filing process. The only problem is I have to wait till winter comes back because to file for ISSN, which is putting the magazine into the Library of Congress officially, and also saying that this is a periodical that gets like produced every quarter. To file for that, you have to have your first year printed with copyright complete. And I'm just waiting on winter. I gave a call to the copyright office. I got assigned a thread ID number that I've been using so that, my work doesn't get lost. And it's looking like next month, like September, maybe October, I will get it back. So hopefully by the end of this year, I will be able to finally have ISSN number instead of putting in every publication ISSN pending. Um, but once I get that number, it's permanent, at least for periodicals that are done either on a monthly basis, quarterly basis, or even a biannual basis. Once I get the number, it's the same moving forward, and that means it's every issue. As long as I provide copyright paperwork to the office, then boom, we're already in the Library of Congress. And that alone kind of brought joy, a little bit of tears, and just a whole new weight of these people are relying on me to protect their work, to put their work in circulation, and to make sure that even their identities, like some people have been using pseudonyms, like make sure that their identities are safe. So it has been a journey. I am so excited that this has blossomed into a publishing company. I may have the magazine Fox and Toad right now, but I am already creating and producing a few other things that I will be getting published, hopefully in 2025, if not 2026, because we have learned lessons here. We have learned lessons, and I do not like giving myself 2 weeks to fully edit, design, do layouts, and even just reading over everything before this goes to final print. Like, I think I'm gonna make it like an Easter egg hunt, maybe on my Patreon, of how many mistakes can you find in each publication. I think I'll go through and count all of them, and I guess the person who gets the closest in each publication, I'll have to reward them with something at this point. But this way it's kind of keeping it lighthearted, where it's like, hey, you know, we mess up too. This is human run and operated. There's no AI. We're not professional editors, which, if anybody is, and you want to donate some time, I promise I won't give you just 2 weeks. I'm, I'm working on expanding that deadline to at least 4. But this has been a hoot of a time. I'm I'm so excited, like moving forward. I really want to start expressing the journey that I've been going on to make this company what it is today and what it's going to be the next day and in the future. And maybe this could be inspirational for anybody that wants to write and publish their own work. It is not easy doing it on your own. It is very hard to get in circulation. Hopefully, by the end of next year, 2025, we will actually be in really big stores. Like, I'm talking Amazon for digital copies, physical copies, Barnes and Nobles, Books a Million. There's even a few local bookshops that I'm trying to get into right now. It is a lot of this information has been gate kept, mostly because a lot of publishing companies put trademarks in place on their process and how they operate. So that has been fun. figuring it out on my own. There's been a lot of ups and downs, and for every up that I get after a down, it makes it like 3 times more worth it. 3 times more worth it to just keep pushing, to just keep going. I do not have any like higher education towards something like this. A lot of my education is definitely geared towards other things, um, which is irrelevant for this channel, but this has been a fun passion project, and I hope to continue growing this passion project into a full blown publishing company that could be like the next business I step into. And with that, thank you so much for listening to this podcast, for watching any of the videos that I've been posting, even though they might feel a little random here and there. And I hope that you can enjoy this journey moving forward. Uh, yeah, I think that's where I'm going to end it. I hope you all have a beautiful rest of your morning, and I will talk to you next week. Bye.